wise.
Hey, this is a good opportunity for me to tell you guys, remember, stay off the drugs, right? Yeah, because if you don't, you may end up making a video game series and earn millions of dollars. We wouldn't want that to happen. So, the less justified we are in standing on our own, the more of a need that we feel to join groups and connect ourselves to others. Because I'm not enough to stand on my own. And so therefore I have to join a group to make myself matter more, to make myself more meaningful. And by the way, this is one of those ways that we can, that we're going to challenge death in a way. Because when we die, we all recognize that we're all born and we all die. But we also recognize that it's what you do in between these 2 points that will define you as a person. And it's the connections that you make between those 2 points that allows you to expand the scope of your influence past your death. If you can build a building, or if you can make a thing, if you can have a family, you know that you're going to influence the world and expand the world far beyond just that short period of your life. We think of the soldier as that person. And by the way, if any of you guys tell your parents that you want to go join the military, this is probably what they imagine you doing. Putting on the uniform, running out there all geared up, fighting the enemy, just jumping out of planes, shooting third world people. Landing and saving third world people. And then a bullet, just rips through you as you're like rescuing orphans from burning buildings. Any of you guys know people who are actually in the military? Yeah, what's that actually like?
They just sit
They wake up at 4 in the morning.
Wake up at 4 in the morning.
And then they work out. They don't work out and do nothing.
Yeah.
So like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
After that, they go eat breakfast. And
Yeah.
they work from 8 to 3.
Typically sitting at a desk or something. Yeah.
But it depends on the branch you're also working.
Yeah.
Because in the
Most of the
Army,
time
you're
it's
spending half of your time just like out in the field. The Marine Corps, obviously doing your job. That is your job.
And what's the Marine Corps' job?
The Marine Corps' job, land, air, and sea. So you're training half of the time.
No, to run up sandy beaches and get killed. Go ahead. Someone's got to take the bullets. Go ahead. Continue.
The Air Force, just sitting in the office half the time.
Air Force sitting at a joystick.
They're playing retro video games.
Yeah, like I asked in class, what's the difference between an elementary school and a terrorist training camp? Don't ask me, man. I just fly the drones. Go ahead.
I just see it.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of the friends that I have that are in the military that graduate from True Wire, that's mostly what they do. Just like train, go to the field, go to the range, that's it.
I like the guy showed up in my last period. It was great. 4th period. Shows up and he hasn't been here all year. He walks up and he looks exactly like one of my students from last year. Guess why?
He was?
No, they were both in ROTC. So they all have the same haircuts and everything. This guy walks in and he said, and he very polite and explains to me, he says, I haven't been here all year. I asked him, wow, we've missed you. And I told him that we've been sitting around all semester mourning his absence. And I asked him who he was, so he told me. And he said, I'm sorry I was absent, I was in boot camp. Man, that sucks. Like, go from boot camp to this. You're running around, you're doing fun stuff, and you show up here, and it's like, go sit down, here's a poem, But when you imagine what the military life is going to be like, or what the thing that they sell you, like I said, it's like jumping out of planes. Like, you ever seen a military recruiting video where it just shows a bunch of people like sitting around, like eating lunch, or like sitting around and like doing paperwork? No, they're selling an adventure, man. Especially if you ever watch. Go watch Russian military recruitment videos. Dude, those things are wild. Those things are wild, man. The Russians are just, I don't know, man, they're a different breed. I mean, there's a reason that they have really high levels of alcoholism over there, man. They're looking for an adventure of some kind. And then when you compare what we think the military life is going to be like versus what it actually is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know people like this. They sign up because they think they're gonna be like jumping out of planes and saving people, and then really it's just, a lot of sitting around, a lot of hurry up and wait. And then your family probably imagines that that's what your life is going to be like. You're going to get dropped into some war zone, and you're going to be, getting pierced through with bullets and sacrificing your life for your country. And some people will, this is true. But, well, I guess one way or the other, you're going to sacrifice your life for your country, right? If you sign up,
Your sanity.
sacrificing your time, sacrificing your sanity, and there are a lot of people who really do enjoy it. We're going to have recruiters in here at some point. I know this because a box got dropped on my desk from the National Guard full of like Kleenex and markers and stuff. And so as long as they keep bringing me Kleenex and markers, I'm totally cool with selling you guys out on that for your future. So, hey,
Hey, free shit is free shit.
hey, free stuff. Yeah, exactly. Hey, if it's, I mean, it's not ultimately, it's not free. It costs you your life, but I get markers out of it. So stop thinking so selfishly about yourself, comrades. Think about us for a second. And those are the markers I use to take roll, which there's something ironic about that. But what's it really going to be like? You know, and yeah, there are people who join up. And by the way, it's a wonderful opportunity. That's why I let them come in. There's some great opportunities in the armed forces. There really, really are. Can you run around and shoot guns and blow shit up? Yeah, that's what you want to do. Can you do paperwork if you want to? Yeah, one of the recruiters who comes in here, I don't remember if she's from the Army or the National Guard, but man, one of them comes in and her specialization is she's in human resources. She does paperwork. What's that?
National Guard.
The National, you know who they are? Oh, I gotta be careful. Should I talk then?
You just come here too often.
Don't worry,
I thought we knew.
we don't care.
You don't say anything? These are good people right here.
They just come too often for us.
And I know it too, because people who go by their last names only, I can trust them. If someone just goes by a last name, I know I can trust them. Mike Vargas, Sanchez, and those guys. But she comes in and she just works in human resources, and you ask her, why'd you do that? Human resources, and she said, I didn't want to do any exercise. She just says that. Like, okay, so she's like 10 weeks of basic training, bunch of exercise, and then she says, then I can do exercise like once a year. And she'll even say, like, you have to pass a fitness test, but she's like, even if I just get close, they just pass me along. And I'm like, wonderful. That's really good to know, man. She got like a medal for it wasn't a purple, how was it? She got a medal for a purple paper clip. She took a paper cut one year. It was really bad, bled all over the place. And then there's another one who comes in here though, and she's an interrogator. She interrogates terrorists. They capture somebody or criminals, and her job is to go in the room and interrogate them and get the truth out of them. So you can imagine when she tells stories about her ex-husband. She really does. She comes in here and she tells stories about her ex-husband. They go, no, yeah, surprise, surprise, you're an interrogator. You come home and you're like, I know, I stopped to get food on the way home. You stopped to get food on the way home? Yeah, why? So you can kind of you can find a job in it, and it's a neat opportunity. It's something that, especially if you're not interested in college, and even if you are interested in college later on down the road, getting money for it, but it's a neat opportunity. They'll come in, they'll talk to you, and so I'd encourage you to look at the career, because it doesn't have to just be combat. It isn't just going to be giving your life for your country, but there are worse things to give your life for, and there are worse things to live for. And if you don't believe me, I can prove it. Just talk to people you know, and you're going to find that a lot of people are giving their lives and dying for things that they absolutely hate, like their jobs, like their lives, missed opportunities. There's all kinds of things like that people will give their lives for that. And you might kind of think like, well, why do people, what is it that gnaws away at people like that? And one of the big ones is that, like for myself anyway, if I were to do human resources, let's say, I wonder how many of you guys are like this. Every day you go in and type away at a computer and you just feel like you were wasting your life and that your life was just amounting to absolutely nothing. What happens if that piece of paper doesn't get filed? Well, somebody else will file it. It'll get filed in some way. And what that means is that they're almost as replaceable as a broken lawnmower part. If this one thing breaks, just put something else in its place. And a lot of jobs are like this. Like I have and I'll leave it at that because I do have friends who watch these things. But actually, no, I'll tell you one. I have a friend who's a security guard over at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. I don't know if I mentioned him before, but he's the most talented, incredible guitarist I've ever heard in my whole life. I don't care who you bring to me. This guy, he stands up against anybody. And today, he's a security guard at the Staples Center. He sits in a chair in a hallway, and his job is to not let anybody come down this one hallway during events. That's it. So if someone starts walking down this hallway, he has to say, oh, you can't come down this hallway, you have to keep going that way. And I ask him how many people come down that hallway at every event, and he says like 1, maybe 2. So he'll sit there for an 8-hour shift, 6 hours actually during the events, and he'll interact with like 2 people telling them not to go certain ways. That's it. If he doesn't do that job, what happens?
He gets replaced.
You just find somebody else. What's that?
The walk.
Yeah, maybe someone will walk through. Ooh, end of the world, huh? Or they'll get somebody else to do it. If he doesn't show it, he calls out. Somebody else shows up. And there's something that in a job like that, there's something that can be really like grating on you, because it makes you feel like, wow, I don't matter. And there are aspects in your life where you absolutely 100% matter. Like if you, I don't know, like if you have like a friend group, there's like 4 of you, and they take you out and they put somebody else in one day and they don't tell the group will recognize it's not you, hopefully. And then like, you know, there'll be some friction. Maybe there's a job that you do that nobody else can do what it is that you do. Or maybe people can't do it quite the same way that you do it. And if they replace that person, you would notice it. But by and large, if you're taking on a job where it just feels like you're as replaceable as the broken lawnmower part, it can lead you to start to feel like, wow, I don't matter a whole lot. And a lot of people feel this way, even if they shouldn't, even if they have families and friends and jobs that would miss them. A lot of people just kind of stumble through life like this, like they live these lives of just absolute quiet desperation, going from one day to the next, just trying to get to the weekend and hating Sunday, because it means having to return to the thing that they hate. I remember there was somebody who used to work here. I can't tell you who it is because some of you will know who this person is. And I remember he would, every day I would see him in the parking lot. He'd get to his vehicle and just go, turn on his car. And I didn't know if that big sigh was because of where he was leaving or where he was going to. And they're both really miserable, you know? And so what is it that people will therefore do if they feel that way? If they feel like they're just insignificant? Well, what you do is you try to expand or at least increase your level of significance. How? Well, I don't know, maybe you find a significant other and you get married. So now it's not just one of you, now there's 2 of you, and at the very least, I matter to one other person. You know? So maybe you then have a few children, 2 or 3 children, maybe there's 2 children. And so now you matter to that person and the children. And growing up, before they start to hate you, they see you as the greatest person in the world, the smartest, the biggest, the strongest, the everything. But don't worry, they'll come back to admire you and love you again eventually. And then it still maybe isn't quite enough. Even though you've like quadrupled your meaningfulness, maybe hopefully they'll have some grandchildren someday, and so you'll be able to expand it more. And now you join like a, I don't know, you say, you know what, I want to matter more. And so you put on a Padre jersey. So now you're not just one person, now you're a person who's in a stadium full of people. And no matter what your backgrounds are, you have that thing in common. We're all Padre fans. You're wearing your jersey, and you walk down the street and somebody else is wearing a jersey. Even that hideous City Connect jersey. My God, what the hell, guys? Seriously? Some of you bought that. Anyway, and you'll pass them on the street and you'll give each other like or at least you'll look up, at least you'll acknowledge it, like, yeah. And then if you see somebody else walking down the street wearing a Dodger jersey, and you'll yell something terrible at LA. Why? Because it's us against them. And now you've joined yourself to a larger group, Padre fans. And then you're going to, maybe like there's a concert that you go to and you buy a t-shirt, or at least you wear an old t-shirt, and now you're connected with a whole bunch of fans that are there. In other words, what I'm saying is that you start to join these things because these are the things that start to give us a high level of connection to others, so that our little existence doesn't feel so little anymore. It gives us an opportunity to expand our connection to people, to expand our influence in a world that we otherwise might not feel like we have a lot of meaningfulness in, or influence in, or connection in. And so the less justified a person is in claiming their own excellence. In other words, if a person can't come along and say, I'm really, I'm great, or I'm excellent, or I'm moral, or I'm virtuous, what we will tend to therefore do is say, you know what? I'm kind of a piece of crap. But you know what? My country's the best. Yeah, but are you the better part of that country? Don't matter. My country's the best. My religion. Yeah, but don't you like cheat on your spouse and lie and like take pens from the bank and stuff like that? Yeah, but you know what? The religion is great. God forgives. Race. Should I even get started? I don't know why people will claim like some races are better than others. My God, just look at how we all behave, dude. We'll all find lots of things to poke at each other. And the holy cause, well, look at last period. I talked more about that. And so, the less justified we are in standing on our own, the more of a need that we feel to join groups and connect ourselves to others. Because I'm not enough to stand on my own. And so therefore I have to join a group to make myself matter more, to make myself more meaningful. And by the way, this is one of those ways that we can, that we're going to challenge death in a way. Because when we die, we all recognize that we're all born and we all die. But we also recognize that it's what you do in between these 2 points that will define you as a person. And it's the connections that you make between those 2 points that allows you to expand the scope of your influence past your death. If you can build a building, or if you can make a thing, if you can have a family, you know that you're going to influence the world and expand the world far beyond just that short period of your life. And that's one of the things that people will strive towards. To be more meaningful, to expand the scope of your influence, to be part of something larger and greater than yourself. And it's not a bad thing. We put it down a lot of times, like, I just want to be part of a group, don't we all? I just want people to like you, don't we all? Anybody wake up in the morning and say, I want the world to hate me? Some people do. Man, be careful of those people. Because they're going to find a way to make that true. And you don't want to be around when that happens. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Happy Tuesday.